What's up, guys? This is Gavin Michele coming at you with what do you call this? Like a vlog or I don't know. It's not quite a tutorial because it's just me mumbling over a screen cap of me coloring, but whatever. Let's get right into it because apparently I'm not wasting any time coloring. So what you just saw me do is it's a trick I like to do. I select like a purple or a blue or just some kind of cool tone, and whatever I'm coloring, I set my brush to multiply and just lay over it a little bit with that purple or blue. And as you can see, the skin tones and like the red and the blotchy green and all that, it I've used that purple for the shadow, so I've got a nice little palette now that I can select from. So I just find it helps me keep the color scheme, kind of unified. Helps me pick colors organically instead of having to use that lame color swatch thing on the right, which I mean I use occasionally. Everybody uses the swatches occasionally, but you know. And you saw me do kind of a similar thing with the highlights on his forehead and his nose. See, instead of setting the brush to multiply, I set it to color dodge, I think it was. Sometimes I use different settings. I like to play and noodle around, but I think it was color dodge. And see, that gives me nice, like really bright highlights that are almost like burned in. You get this, see, after the flesh tone, you get this nice yellow kind of thing into a brighter yellow. And now, obviously, you don't want to just dodge the crap out of your colors because that's just going to be messy. What you do is use those highlights as a palette. You start, see, check out his chin right there. You got his skin tone, and it goes into like an almost pink, and then to a yellow, and then to a brighter yellow. And that's a cool little set of tones for highlights. So you use those tones. You don't just, burn or dodge the crap out of your picture, because that's just ugly. Don't do that. And alright, now I'm on the bottom of the hand, adding my shading. I'm using a gray here. Since the skin tone and the shadow are pretty warm, I can use that gray, and it kind of gives me a cool tone. And then I blew it up some more. Not blue like an explosion, but blue like the color. Add some blue up in there. The reason you want to add those blues, guys, is because it helps the figure turn in space. See, warmer colors tend to come out at you, and blue colors, or cooler colors, sorry, tend to recede. So the way you create volume in a figure is to have those warmer colors come out, and the cooler to have the warmer colors as the highlights, and the cooler colors as the shadows. Now, some people, like Christian Leitner, is a master at doing this. He uses his cool tones as highlights sometimes when he feels like it, and then warm tones as shadows. And somehow I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's just, just picking one tone and having lighter or darker versions of that tone for the color, that's freaking lame sauce. Don't do that. I didn't even tell you guys what this is that I'm coloring. This is page 3 from Last Ride for Horsemen number 2. Yes, number 2. And the pencils and inks are by the inimitable Nathan Smith. And the wonderfully talented Amy Rachels was kind enough to do flats for me on this page. Now, if you'll check out my layers palette on the right, Nathan is a digital penciler. He he might do his layouts in real IRL pencil, but those finish lines are all inked digitally. And what he likes to do is separate all those panels into different folders. He's got like a base layer, some detail layers, like some notes for me that I can switch on and off. You know, he's very he sets it up, you know. And Amy actually took a cue from this and laid out my flats, as a lot of flatters will lay out their flats all on one layer, and the entire page is just one flat layer with no like anti-aliasing or anything like that. Amy actually separated all these characters onto different layers for me, and a lot of times the characters, like the skin will be on a different layer and their shirt will be on a different layer. And so basically these two awesomely creative individuals just gift wrapped this page for me. So basically all I have to do is the fun part. So big thank you to Amy and Nathan for being awesome. Alright, that's enough butt kissing, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. I'll kiss both of their butts later on too. What am I doing now? Yeah, see, we've moved on to panel 2, and I'm just adding some contour lighting. It's another thing I like to do. It's something that adds visual interest. You rarely have one light source when you're painting or coloring anything. Almost every object or person or whatever you're going to encounter is lit from more than one direction. So what I like to do is take the main light source, use warm tones for that. I cool the tones down as the figure turns in space. The shadows and stuff make that cooler, and then it comes around again for a second highlight, and I make that second highlight cool. So it just kind of gives it a little extra torque. And a lot of times that's how it works in real life too. Not always. It's just lighting in real life tends to be a lot more complicated than it is in in painting and comics. So you gotta kind of simplify a little bit. Just kind of gotta go with it. But yeah, these figures that I'm coloring right now are actually all contributors to the Last Ride for Horsemen #1 Kickstarter campaign. So these are all real folks that actually wanted to be portrayed as sadistic cannibals in this book. So congratulations, guys. You got your wish. See, I'm going a little nuts with the color here. Anything that you want to look kind of reflective, like hair or anything like that, the more tones you add, the better it's going to look. You know, she's got some reds, some oranges, some browns, some grays, you know, and I feel like that's a general rule. Just the more colors you use, the better something's going to look. I don't know, people are probably going to skewer me in the comments for saying that, but whatever. As long as you keep those colors kind of unified and harmonious. I mean, don't freaking chew up a bunch of Skittles and spit it all over your page, you know? You gotta go with a color palette. See, like I'm not, the cool colors I'm using are not particularly saturated. It's staying pretty warm. And actually later on in this page I'm planning on I'm planning on cooling the entire page down because it's actually a night scene. But in order to keep the characters looking consistent, I'm coloring them. I'm starting off fairly warm, coloring them, and then I'm going to cool them down as I don't know, post-production? Do we have post-production in comics? I watch too many movies, I'm sorry. Let's see, yep, there I am doing that color dodge thing again. And you see I'm just kind of spiking it on the tips, and right there I'm selecting and blending. And basically that's all there is to coloring, folks. You just you lay in general tones and then you select and blend. That's pretty much it. It's just general tones and then detailing. And that pretty much goes for painting too. I mean, you lay in your big blocks and then you detail. Sometimes I start detailing before I should. It's a bad habit of mine. I need to stop doing that. Yeah, see the hair. I've got a different little brush. I don't like to switch brushes too much. It too many different things frighten and confuse me. But for stuff, there's a few that I like to switch up on, like this square one right here. I actually got that from Trent Canuga. His there's a big pack on his Gumroad that's a bunch of videos and brushes and all kinds of cool stuff. And I mean, I know how to make brushes from scratch. I mean, come on, who are you talking to? But to see what kind of brushes other artists use and what kind of stuff they do with them. I mean, having an artist's brush set is no guarantee whatsoever that you're going to be able to start matching their techniques. But it don't hurt. And so I love Trent's videos. I watch them all the time. Great inspiration. If you get a chance, go by Trent's Gumroad and buy some stuff. His videos are really funny, really informative. He's a really interesting guy to listen to. Let's see, I think the brushes I use. Let me talk about that a little bit. I have I kind of collect brushes from different artists, and I alter them to suit my needs. Like I think my main brush is one that I got from let me see if I can pronounce his name, Adi Granov. He's the guy that does Iron Man, or did Iron Man. He did Iron Man for a long time. He designed the suit that was in the first Iron Man movie. I've been following this dude since like before he got into comics. And he only has like 3 brushes, but and I only really use one of the 3. But this one brush, it's like it's a hard round, but with soft edges and a little bit of texture in it, and it's just, it's awesome for drawing, for blending, whatever. And I have a hard round that I use too sometimes, but I found that my style tends to be very I was trained as an oil painter, so my style tends to be kind of chunky anyway. That soft head edge helps me to kind of adapt it to comics, to help me blend a little bit instead of having those big chunks of brushstroke. And as you can see, I still have the big chunks of brushstroke. I love seeing brushstrokes on artwork. But it's that happy medium, And here I am again using the myriad of different colors. Again, the blue is deadened. It's not too saturated, but anything reflective, like these metallic goggle things. You want bright highlights and you want dark shadows because it's reflecting everything around it. So yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and take it easy.